Hey, you made it. You made it. You made it. You made it. It is 9:01, and you know what time it is. It's time for some intel on Love and Marriage Huntsville. You know what it is. Everything on this channel is alleged, in my opinions, for entertainment purposes only. Once again, everything on this channel is alleged, in my opinions, for entertainment purposes only. Once again, everything on this channel is alleged, in my opinions, for entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it, shall we? Martell pulls up to the Fletcher's house. And Nell is outside looking lovely as always, and Nell is watering her flowers, and Martell brings his Anest wine over to the Fletcher's house for the family dinner that the Fletchers will be having with their kids. And so, with that being said, Nell said that Martell looked handsome, and so, Martell asked, "Where is Chris?" And so Nell said Chris ran up to his office for some real estate business. He should be back. He should be back shortly. And Nell was going to invite him into the house, but she said, "Do you mind sitting in your suit?" And Martell said, "No, as long as you don't ask me to help." And Nell said, "No, I won't ask you to do anything. You're in a suit." So, they spoke about the barbecue. And that, it was a lot. And so, Martell was saying that, hey, I'm going to still speak. I'm not going to change. And, Nell did say to Melody that, Nell did say to Melody that, you should have spoke. It doesn't hurt to speak. And I feel like this. At the beginning, middle, end of the day, you're right. But also, too, if I had somebody in my life, which I don't, thank God, but if I had somebody like a Martell, I just wouldn't speak to them, because at the end of the day, like, if you disrespect me, you disrespecting, what matters to me. So it's like, no, you have to protect your peace. And so it's like, not to mention too, if you say hi, it's like all the memories flood back and yada, 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 and, and everything in between and around the way. So I get it. It is nice to be able to have peace in the valley, but also, too, you also have to want to have peace in the valley. And Martell, he wants hate in his valley. So why contribute to somebody's hate in the valley when you can have peace in your own valley by yourself? But I appreciate Nell giving some space of peace. So Nell tells Martell about the name changing ceremony, and he has heard about it. And so Nell asks him, how do you feel about it? Like, honestly. And so Martell, feels, it's really real. It's a realization. The kids are named Holt, the special moments that they had. And so, he doesn't really like it. And, Nell said it has to be hard to be in the midst of what Martell and Melody have going on. It's hard being both of their friends. It's hard. And I can only imagine what that is, that you met these two people together, and now they're both their own individuals, and you're trying to be respectful of both, but there's so much history with both. It's like, how do you mentally, go through that history and be in that history and move through that history? So I feel for Nell and Chris. So Nell said that she's attending, and Martell feels that she shouldn't go. And so Martell doesn't understand a name-changing party. He feels like those don't happen, and Nell brings up divorce party as an example, but Martell said they've been divorced for 2 years, and it's a slap in the face to him that Melody's changing her name back to her original name, and that she's being spiteful. And then Martell had the black audacity and the black hypocrisy to say it's not like she did something amazing with the name Rogers. Those are some good people, though. How are you going to say that she did nothing with Rogers and then dismiss that family that accepted you as family? Where do they do this at? I can only imagine how Marcus is feeling, that if Marcus could be a silencer, just handle your behind, he would. And the only reason why he probably hasn't done that is because Melody has said, higher is waiting. You got too much to lose, and you my brother. That is probably the only reason why none of the Rogers family has wailed in on you, mentally and verbally or physically, as they should. And when I mean physically, I don't just mean physically in terms of hurting him and his body, but I mean hurting him physically in terms of his resources being attacked. The Rogers family should have every right to do it after what he did, but the only reason why that probably those cards have not been placed because Melody is trying to have class, distinction, and grace, but he wasn't born with none of that. So, listen. So Nell said, whether you seen this coming or not, I told you. And so Martell feels that Melody is smiling at his face. There was a word that they were using, but I couldn't tell out what the word was. So, he was being passive aggressive by, go enjoy the party. It's like, no, you don't like the party. Just say that and move on. Like, so, Nell said that, he could be smiling. Nell was basically saying that, Martell was basically smiling in her face with the affair. And so Martell brings up this story about Melody having an affair or affairs allegedly while they were married. And so y'all, as I watched the episode, right, y'all see how bad Martell's shoes is, right? They are scuffed up and roughed up. But anyway, I just thought that was something interesting there. But Nell says she knows nothing about it. Martell asked Nell, have you asked her about it? And Nell says no, and then Martell says, well, ask her. And if she does say that, Melody didn't cheat, then he can bring his proof that is true. And Nell said, we're not going to get anywhere with this. And, Nell is not different when it comes to cheating, when it comes to him and Chris. And, Martell asks, did Nell cheat? And so Nell says no and tries to use the, if you don't do it, you shouldn't be on their team analogy, which I'm like, dude, like, really? This is what you're doing? You are grasping at straw so much to be right. Well, you just can't be happy and move on, dude. Like, you're holding on to something that is done, it's over with. Like, you keep going to that door, hoping that the key still works. And guess what? The locks have been changed, brother. The locks have been changed. And you still have these mental shackles on your feet of, I just want to stay right here because, it's just, I love her still, and I know I did wrong. Lord knows I do, but I'm trying to be better. Your actions didn't show it, bruh. Your actions didn't show it. So then, Martell says that women have to stop coming at men so hard like you do, and Nell says, well, maybe men should have up then. And I think what Nell said was facts. If we want women to do the right thing, I'm saying this as a whole, if Martell wants to go with that analogy, guess what? If you don't want a woman to come hard at you, don't do things for her to come hard at you with. And vice versa with women. If you don't want a man to come at you, then don't do things that makes him upset. Fair is fair. And I just felt like that was such a wasted point in that conversation, because it's like, dude, like really though, like, and every woman is different. So to label all women in one basket is not right. Just like, women say that there's no good men. No, some women pass up good men and then finally pick them when they finally get to the realization that that's who they needed. After all the people that they wanted didn't turn out good for them. Just like men pass up good women too. Like, can we stop this ish, really? I just, please and thank you and love y'all so much for that. But anyway, Martell says that he hasn't cheated in 3 to 4 years. And Nell said that Martell is single. You can do what the hell you want to do. So Nell is absolute in going. And Martell says, enjoy it. Eat a cupcake for me. Dude, any other brother would have handled your behind by now. Okay, all right. So, Martell says that Chris and Nell picked a side. No, they're trying to be peace in the valley, and you're trying to create hate in the valley. That's exactly what you're doing. Like, dude, I have never seen more hate for a black man than you before in this modern day of reality TV. I mean, my Lord, just, my Lord, just okay, just. It is what it is. But Nell says truth hurts, but she still loves him. Listen, if I was Chris and Nell was my wife, we're going with Melody. Because he's disrespecting you. He disrespected me by not moving out my house that I need to sell. And he doesn't want to take responsibility for anything. We're done. That's what I would have done. But, hey, listen, I feel for them. I'm with them, and I empathize with Nell and Chris. I really, really do. So, Martell says that you can't say partial of the truth. You have to say the whole truth. Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, you come out with your version of the truth, and because you screaming the loudest, you think people have to believe it. Guess what? People don't have to believe your truth just because you say it. I mean, you said in the Queen Sheba interview, by the way, shout out to Queen Sheba, darling. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to her. #amazing. You said that you had an image that you sent to Melody. Like, dude, you admitted that you had Revenge P. What the hell? What? Oh, okay. All right. So, Martell says that Nell doesn't want to hold Melody accountable and that women don't want to hold other women accountable. Well, how about holding yourself accountable first before you tell what a grown woman should do with her best friend? Can you do that first? And Nell says that she can't agree to something that she does not know, and that Nell said that she shouldn't have to ask Melody about her affairs because he really started it, and he should have just kept it in the house. So, and listen, you know what? I gotta tell you something. I know people go back and forth with Nell, but I really do like Nell. She seems like that around the way best friend, and I can see why Chris wants to stay with Nell. She has such a light and a joy and an energy to her that, she's one of one. She's a limited edition. They ain't making another one of her, and you got that one. I really do believe that. So as we get into the preview, everybody, Nell and Chris, Lord help, Nell and Chris talked about Nell and Martell's conversation and how it was a heated conversation because he just didn't want to take responsibility for anything, and it pissed her off. Nell's name changing ceremony is happening, and Nell is telling Melody about how Martell is upset that she is changing her name back to her original name because that's the name that he gave her when it was her original name. Yeah, you gave her Hope, but she's going back to her original name. You didn't give her original name. I think that was her mom and dad that did, but maybe you don't know how biology worked. But then again, Melody did say you didn't give her an orgasm in 14 years. That's what she said. Listen, I'm just repeating back public information. So, and Melody said that's such narcissistic behavior, and that's why she is celebrating today. Stormy thinks that Kiki and Tiffany can be cool, and Tiffany says that she can be cool with anyone. Well, really, if you think you can be cool with anyone, then execute the energy, but you don't, so that's a lie. Stormy said that Tiffany be throwing more shade and that the Carlos King interview was hard for her to watch. Nell and Chris have a family dinner, and y'all, let's just say that there is more than meets the eye. Lord. Sometimes with reality TV, you do need a palate cleanser. And all I'm going to say is I believe that's going to be a huge palate cleanser in the next episode. So that is this edition of Brainley's Virtual Tour Pit Stop. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. This has been another edition of Brainley's Virtual Tour Pit Stop. One love, much love, all love. Bye, bye, everybody.